Hi guys, it's me Scrivo. As you can see, doing a little bit of a different video today. So, normally you'd catch me doing a nice article, kind of explaining how to play something for Kill Team, 40k, you name it. But today we're doing something a bit different. I'm going to talk to you about wargame shows, specifically this weekend's Salute 52. So, what I think makes this different from a lot of what our normal viewership hits up is not a tournament. It is essentially just a giant big retail show. It's got a very, very prestigious history of being an event that's run for decades. I believe the 52 indicates how many times they've done the show. I can remember going to it in the very early 90s. I think at that point it was in Kensington Town Hall. Some of my earliest Wargames purchases were done at Salute then. It then transitioned to, I think it was year 2000. They moved it to the Kensington Olympia, which is quite a prestigious venue to be using. So upgrading very much from what traditionally wargame shows tend to be, which is very much your small community halls or sports halls. It's quite fair to say. So, and it transitioned slowly over the last sort of 15, 20 years from being very much the chests of metal figures, and you're very much kind of homegrown wargaming kind of community. So a lot of the traditional historical stuff is very much still centered around that. As companies have become a bit more kind of able to do things like plastics, so you've got people like Victrix, Warlord Games, all of these guys have made kind of a name for themselves with it, and that means that as a result that the kind of the community's kind of progressed and exploded. So also with the advent of all the 3D stuff, there's a lot of vendors at things like this now where they are people that have produced and designed their own stuff, and then they will print it for themselves to then sell, which doesn't matter how it's produced, right? Like the resin's resin. So very exciting. The show itself has a theme. It is the theme of it this year is Highlanders. So a couple of the retailers I know, manufacturers, are doing kind of themed event stuff. The show itself, the first 5,000 people that walk in the door get a goodie bag. I've seen some lists of it, some cool gizmos and stuff. But the big one is you get the special Salute 52 figure. This little space dude below, the Highlander Mech Pilot, is actually a free download off the website to kind of showcase that whole kind of element of the progression of what wargaming has become. Really kind of a neat thing. They've done this for years. Like I can remember as like a teenager getting, I think it was George and the Dragon. This kind of little mini diorama of like a white metal figure. I think that was because it was the theme for that year was that, and it was really cool. I've still got the figure. I did paint it, not very well, but it's just sometimes nice to have something different to paint, and it being a thing you've been given just feels like extra value, really. It's at the XL Centre this year again. So one thing I would advise is it opens at 10. It's 10 till 6. If you want to be there and making the most of the day, get there as early as you can because there will be big queues. If it's anything like other events I've been to, because I haven't been to it at the XL. The last time I went was in, I think, 2005, and it was still at Olympia, and it was still quite a big adventure. Yeah, the reason I say get there early is there'll be a lot of queuing because it's thousands of people to get in, and so just get comfy as well. So my one real big bit of advice as well for getting there early is take yourself a nice drink, bring snacks, because there is lots of food vendors, but obviously your focus for the day is going to be looking at and buying hobby stuff. So there's nothing worse than going, right, I need to go and get a coffee, or I'm going to go get a sandwich, and it takes you an hour to go and find something and queue up and all that stuff. So just don't distract yourself. So, and also keep hydrated. These halls, although they might be quite cool and kind of the heat isn't necessarily there, you'll find yourself thirsty. You might not appreciate it, but from going to comic conventions, I used to find that if I wasn't hydrating, I got into a little bit of mischief, and it's just like you suddenly get headaches. So you do not want to get ill. The other big one is, if you scroll down, there is multiple different things. So there's the Hobby Heroes panels, which they've got a whole big stage kind of dedicated to that. There is a painting competition. So if you are one of these people that you're more painting than gaming, place for you. So it's like their own version of like the Silver Brush or Golden Demon. There's all this kind of lovely this angle where what I really appreciate as a kid going to it is you'd see all this stuff, and it wasn't just like here's a row of just Space Marines. You'd have such very different things. The dioramas will be even more niche because you'd be like, right, here you go. Here's a diorama of some soldiers at Stalingrad. Here's Quatre Bras in like the 1800s. It's really cool, exciting, different stuff, and it's really cool to see. And then all the models are available there as well, which is the dangerous thing. So that's the next big step. Is they say it on the website to plan your visit, but what I would always recommend is if you go on the website, if you're coming along, they've got a map down here. As you can see, there's a lot of exhibitors. If you have people you want to come specific to see, so like I've got my eyes on going and visiting the Asmodee's stand because I really, really am enjoying Shatterpoint at the moment, and I just want to see what they've got there because it's exciting to see full-blown demo games of this stuff. There's some companies like Rogue Hobbies. I really want to see Louise's New Goblin. Very, very excited to see that because I have a funny feeling it's going to be Highlander themed, and that's going to be very, very cool. And then obviously, if you're here, if you're essentially attending for 8 hours to get around this hall, it's going to be a challenge. So what I'm going to be doing on Fridays, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to plan my route. This may sound really nerdy, but I'm going to basically write each of the places and prioritize them in order, and based on how I'm getting in as well. So if I'm coming in from the entrance, which is on the very far left, I go to the back of the hall and work my way back to the front, because that way I'm not missing anything. What I'm going to be doing all weekend, well, I say all weekend, on the Saturdays, I will have my camera. I'm going to be taking as much footage as possible, and I'm going to do a video about this because I think it's really cool to showcase what different things are available for wargamers. And notice I say wargamers because it's very easy to get kind of blinkered into sort of the Warhammer ecosystem, which I'm not saying is a bad thing because I blooming love playing Kill Team. I love my 40k, but sometimes it is refreshing to look at and experience new things, especially hobby-wise. Like, there's nothing more exciting than finding a new paint system that you really appreciate that do a few colors, like tones of color that you really are missing. Like, I really struggle at the moment to use purples that aren't just the same old purples. So that and bronze. My new thing is, because I'm doing World Eaters, I'm planning to buy a lot of bronze paint this weekend. So if you do see me, pop and say hi. Just make yourself known. I'd love to meet everyone. So if you've enjoyed this video, guys, tune in for part 2 after the weekend, where I will be breaking down what the show was, what it was like, what my experiences were, what, more importantly, what I purchased, because I think I'm going to end up spending way too much money. Thank you, guys. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and of course become a YouTube member if you really want to support us. It means the world. Till next time, guys, take care.